what you're against the war, you're against this and that. Well, what are you for? Well, you want the government to do something? Yes, we do. We want our government to do the proper things that are authorized in the Constitution. The most important thing about the Constitution, the purpose of the Constitution, was to restrict the government, not the people. It's supposed to provide a strong national defense. Our national defense actually is weakened because of the way we run our foreign policy. It's supposed to protect the borders. No, the borders are unprotected and totally ignored. The government is supposed to give us sound money. Gold and silver is legal tender. No, they give us paper money, which is counterfeit. They're supposed to protect property rights. No, they tear up property rights with eminent domain. They don't even let us use our property. We're not even allowed to use our property without about 25 permits, so who owns the property? We should own it, not the government.
Just have to comment there that there's a little piece that I think that we can all use if we can just sort of memorize what he just said there. The government, the Constitution is there to restrict the government, not the people. And that all the things that the government is supposed to do, the things that they're supposed to do for us, you and me, the American people, they're not doing. They're supposed to protect the national defense. They're supposed to provide national defense. Instead, they're waging national offense, effectively decreasing our defensive ability. They're supposed to protect the borders, the integrity of the national territory. They're plain flat out not doing it. They're supposed to protect the financial well-being of the nation through sound money. Instead, they give us paper money, which is worth essentially nothing and is worth less and less every day. They're supposed to protect our property rights. Instead, they make private property more of a difficult problem with every new regulation. So if we can just keep this, what he just said, in mind, I think that what he just said can reach a lot of people, and it's good material, I think, for a Slim Jim, for a card to pass out, for a flyer, for anything up on your website, whatever. So very valuable stuff there.
How are we supposed to sort out our problems? Social and also in the economic sphere. It's supposed to be solved with private personal contracts, voluntary agreements. The government has a responsibility to enforce those contracts. But today, the contracts are dictated to us by the government, whether who you hire and who you fire and how much you pay and who can come into your buildings. And now we have so many. Can you imagine what the founders would think about how many people we have today harassing us? We have over 100,000 federal agents now who carry guns to harass the people. It should be the other way around.
So yet another very bold statement that it should be the other way around. I don't think he intentionally means that we should actually literally harass the government. But in a sense, yes. I mean, in a sense, I don't remember which great founder it was that said so, but I believe it may have been Franklin who said something to the effect that you have a republic as long as the government is afraid of the people and not the people afraid of the government. And let's face it, we are afraid of our government at this point. We don't know when they're going to pull some kind of an invasion of our privacy, or audit our taxes, or fine us, or find some lame excuse for putting us in jail. There's so many different laws and regulations, you almost don't even know when you're going to trip over one. So, a very, very, very bold point again by Dr. Paul. And this speech, this after listening to this the second time, is fast becoming one of my all-time favorite Ron Paul speeches.
They advised against a standing army, but it looks like today we have a standing army of bureaucrats. This is the only place where I think we should have gun control. Take the guns away from the bureaucrats.
Unbelievable.
You know, so we understand, I think, the problems that we face. I think we all understand really how we got here by ignoring the Constitution, and that means that there's not a difficult problem in figuring out what we ought to do. Let's just restore the rule of law and believe in the Constitution and follow it. Now, the one thing that the campaign so far has convinced me of is I've never been hesitant to say that I was very reluctant. I had to be talked into thinking there would be enough of you that would be interested, that I was convinced there were still too few of us and we still needed another generation for education. But the educational process, which is always necessary for a significant change in attitude for a country, has occurred. It has occurred. And not only that, is now that we have gotten attention of the people, that it is growing by leaps and bounds, and we have to give tremendous credit to the young generation today who are rallying behind this message of freedom.
Okay, have to pause there. Okay, so the educational process has occurred. He was very emphatic about that. That what he's saying, I believe what he's saying, is that a certain critical mass has been achieved in the national consciousness about the freedom message. And that having achieved that critical mass, we are seeing it grow by leaps and bounds. And then he mentions the young people. Now, I want to just relate a personal experience. On Friday, we were out at a street corner in Sherman Oaks with our signs, waving signs, as I hope you all do at least once a week, Ron Paul signs and banners. And we were out there, and not a great show up that day. Not too many supporters turned out. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, about a dozen teenagers came by, and they say, "Hey, Ron Paul, we love Ron Paul. Can we have some signs?" And they just grabbed a bunch of signs, and they were up there on the street corner waving them and just dancing and going, "Ron Paul, Ron Paul." And they were just having a good time. And, you know, I'd say half of them actually knew of Ron Paul and had some sense of what he was about. The other half were just joining in, but still, nonetheless, totally spontaneous, out of left field, just showing up and joining in like that. It was really, really quite beautiful. And we told them we're going to be there every Friday, and they say they're going to come back and they're going to bring all of their friends. So I'm looking forward to this coming Friday. I really want to see what's going to happen. You know, who knows? Maybe they won't show up, but maybe they will, and maybe they will bring their friends. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. So actually, I noticed that there isn't anything out there right now called Teens for Ron Paul. And I thought, well, you know, there really ought to be. There really ought to be Teens for Ron Paul. So yeah, I went ahead and got the teensforronpaul.com web domain, and now all I need is a teen to develop it with me, and we will soon have Teens for Ron Paul. Yet another project that I am endeavoring to take up. But if there's anybody out there hearing my voice and recognizing the potential of these young people, and we're talking in this case between 14 and 17, 18 years of age, but hey, it's their future, isn't it? It's their, and they have a certain understanding of that. It's their future, you know? So if there's anybody out there that wants to help me get that website up and, you know, let it be an online resource, then please do contact me at my website, www.ronpaulfreedommessage.com, ronpaulfreedommessage.com, or email me at freedommessage@sbcglobal.net, freedommessage@sbcglobal.net if you want to get involved in that. I would really appreciate some help, and I'm sure it will pay off. Okay, back to more of this fantastic Ron Paul speech.